We made it, guys. It's April 29th, the day of the long-awaited Africa Special, and we've got some complicated things to talk about. Get ready. Let's go. Really quickly before we begin, here's when the Africa Special is going down. 16:30 UTC. We've done this a few times, but I'm just going to rattle off local times real quick. 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 a.m. Mountain, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Dublin, 7:30 p.m. Addis Ababa, 11:30 p.m. Bangkok, 1:30 a.m. Tokyo. So you can go to the website africa.cardano.org and register for the event, and then you'll start receiving emails hooking you up with exactly how to watch the event. I'll be there. I hope you will too. Okay, guys, over the last week, we've kind of covered all of the things having to do with the Africa Special. We've talked about every angle of the collaborating partners. We've talked about all the things Cardano probably wants to do in the next year, in the next 5 years, 10 years. We've talked about all those things. I think we should address it today, the day of the Africa Special. So this question has always been, hey, we know that a lot of the identity stuff in Cardano is tied up in Atala Prism, the website we're on right now, Atala Prism. And we know that Atala was produced by IOHK. But the question is, who's really going to benefit from this whole Africa thing, from this Ethiopia deal? I mean, we hope altruistically that people in Africa, people in Ethiopia at this first juncture benefit from the Africa deal. But who's going to benefit from it on the Cardano side? And the accusation is always like, hey, this is just an IOHK thing. This doesn't have anything to do with Cardano. And that's a lot of that is based on the way Atala Prism was kind of presented to us back when Atala first debuted. I remember there was a big conference in, I think it was in Miami, and they announced Atala Prism. And it was kind of named, I think Atala is like the name of a butterfly in Florida or something like that. But they announced Atala Prism, and it was kind of like, hey, Atala Prism is the solution for entities like governments and probably some corporations that want kind of a federated system. And what they mean by federated is not a public blockchain, a blockchain that wouldn't be open to public nodes, where that government or maybe that company would control the nodes. They would be the only ones who'd be able to alter data on the blockchain. So this, I think a lot of people still have a memory of that, and it's freaked them out. They have this conception in their mind that Atala Prism is this completely separate product, unrelated to ADA and the rest of Cardano, and that all of us as ADA holders may not actually benefit at all from the Ethiopia project because it's likely to be heavily Atala Prism based. So when we go here to the Atala Prism website and we come down here to your questions answered, what is Atala Prism? Atala Prism is a decentralized identity solution built on the Cardano blockchain. So the question is, what does built on the Cardano blockchain really mean? Does that mean when there are Atala transactions? I guess we'd call them transactions. In this case, it's going to be the Ministry of Education running a system that will probably be Atala Prism based. And those transactions, in air quotes, would be like teachers entering grades and diplomas. And we talked yesterday about how student behavior, transfers, dropouts, missing class, all that stuff could be included in the unified record system that the Ministry of Education of Ethiopia wants to create. But when they do all those things, I mean, are those going to be transactions in that sense of the word that are reflected in the Cardano blockchain? Are they going to be something totally separate that doesn't count for transactions in the Cardano blockchain, who's going to be validating these blocks? Will it be our SPOs over here on the Cardano side? Will those SPOs not be involved in that? There's some unanswered questions here, but here's why I really think we shouldn't worry about it. I think we don't need to worry about it because the biggest holders of ADA are IOHK and Emergo and the Cardano Foundation. Those are the people who have the most to gain from the value of the Cardano system as a whole, and specifically of ADA going up. And while you might say, yeah, but IOHK also owns all of Atala, they only own some of ADA. Some of the ADA public float is owned by IOHK, but all of Atala is owned by IOHK. So what's to prevent them from just making this an Atala project that has nothing to do with Cardano? So if they did that, obviously, like, there would be a lot of public backlash. There'd be a lot of backlash from the community if somehow this whole Pan-Africa strategy, the whole Ethiopia project, if some benefit of this didn't accrue to the ADA holders, I think there would be a decent amount of backlash from the community, right? And IOHK and Emergo and the Cardano Foundation, they would benefit. I mean, it'd be like, do you want to benefit? Do you want to make this project accrue to the benefit of ADA holders? In which case, you will also benefit more than anybody else. Or do you want it to just be an Atala project? In which case, yeah, you'll benefit, but you'll also have the backlash of your entire community. Charles and IOHK, Emergo, the Cardano Foundation, they're smart. They're not stupid. They're not going to turn around and say, hey, guess what, guys? This is all just a big Atala project, and none of the benefit of this will accrue to the Cardano holders, to the ADA holders. That's not going to be the case. That's not going to be what happens here. What's far more likely is that we find out a little bit more what this means, built on the Cardano blockchain. I'm sure somewhere deep in the annals of IOHK, there's going to be a lot of documentation explaining exactly what happens when an Atala project is out there in the wild. A big Atala project, in this case, the biggest blockchain project ever, is out there in the wild. What happens? How does that interact with the Cardano system? I don't know the answer to that question because I haven't read every bit of documentation that IOHK has ever put out. There's actually a lot of it, despite all of our many complaints that there's not enough documentation about Plutus. There's quite a bit of documentation in the Cardano verse in general. Here we see, how does Atala Prism leverage the Cardano blockchain? Cardano provides decentralized public key infrastructure, DPKI, which is key to enabling records that can be instantly verified by anyone and anywhere. DKPI enables everyone to create or anchor cryptographic keys on the blockchain in a tamper-proof and chronologically ordered way. These keys are allowed to verify digital signatures, etc., etc. The Cardano blockchain is ideal for anchoring digital identities as it is highly secure and designed for long-term sustainability. So while you might be thinking to yourself, like, of course, the Ethiopian Ministry of Education just wants this to be a standalone blockchain, that's not why they would have chosen Cardano, right? Like, pretty much, there are many, many actors in the crypto space who could have gone out there and built a federated blockchain for the Ethiopian Ministry of Government if they wanted this completely hermetically sealed system where only they operate, whatever would end up being, like 200 nodes or something. I don't think that's what they shopped for. That's not what they bargained for. I think they bargained for a big blockchain that was decentralized and had the security of a big decentralized blockchain. And that's why they chose Cardano and Atala Prism. So I think what we're going to find out today in the Africa Special is that when they say Atala is built on Cardano, that means that when a project is built on Atala, the benefit of that project being built on Atala is going to accrue in various ways to the ADA holders. I think that's, knowing the way IOHK and the Cardano Foundation and Emergo have, the way they've they've moved the ecosystem along so far. I can't imagine that the result is anything but that. I think we're going to find out today that all of these concerns, hey, this is just an IOHK project. Hey, this is just an Atala project, which has nothing to do with Cardano. We've seen those comments in the Cardano Reddit and on YouTube. Every once in a while, somebody pops up and makes those kind of comments. But I don't think that's what we're going to find out today. I think we're going to find out today, hopefully a little bit more. Hopefully they dive a little bit into the mechanics of how Atala interacts with the rest of the Cardano blockchain. But I think we're going to find out that there's nothing to worry about on that front. I think what we're really going to find out is that Atala Prism is basically a dApp. Many dApps will be built in the Cardano ecosystem, some by IOHK, some by Emergo, some by myriad other parties. But I think what we're going to find out in a couple of years as we look back on this in retrospect is that Atala is basically just one of many dApps that will be built out. I hope you're super excited. I hope you've registered on the website and you'll get all the right notifications to jump on the live stream and experience what could really be a watershed moment for the whole crypto space. We're onboarding 5 million people to a blockchain project. This has never been done before. This is like a first in history kind of event. Everything's going to be great. We waited a long time. We've been on this road a long time with Charles and IOHK, Cardano Foundation, Emergo. A whole lot of people have been working really hard to get to this moment. And this is going to be followed by the Plutus testnet going up and then Plutus going to mainnet. This is the best time ever to be in Cardano. I hope you enjoyed today. I'm going to as well, and I will see you there.